Before the bombs, before Hiroshima, before the world understood what nuclear energy was, there was a silent race, an invisible race. At the heart of Adolf Hitler's regime, scientists were working on something few fully understood, but everyone feared. A nuclear reactor, and for it to work, a rare substance was needed, heavy water. Without it, there is no chain reaction. Without a reaction, there is no bomb. And there was only one place in occupied Europe producing it on an industrial scale, an isolated factory in the mountains of Norway. From afar, it looked like just an ordinary power plant. Concrete, pipes, steam, but underneath, a hidden system, buried inside the mountain. 18 electrolysis cells working non-stop, day and night, producing, drop by drop, the material that could change the war. The Germans knew its value. That's why they transformed the place into a fortress. Armed guards, guarded bridges, minefields, constant patrols, no unguarded entrance, no uncontrolled exit, no chance of invasion, or at least that's what they believed. Before the mission you saw at the beginning, there was another attempt, a straightforward plan, brutal. British commandos transported by gliders, Operation Infiltrate, Destroy, Exit. But the Norwegian winter doesn't negotiate. The gliders crashed in a snowstorm. The survivors were captured and executed without trial, without mercy. The factory continued operating, the war continued to advance, and time was running out. In London, a man observed aerial photographs of the factory, but he didn't just see images. He saw structure, details, weaknesses. His name was Leif Tronstad. Before the war, he helped design that system. He knew where every pipe ran, where every machine was installed, and most importantly, he knew where the enemy wasn't looking. When they suggested bombing the factory, he refused. Bombs would destroy the city, they would kill civilians, and perhaps they wouldn't even hit the main target. So he proposed something different, something almost impossible. A silent infiltration, small, precise airplane, no British troops, no major offensives, just Norwegians, men who knew those mountains like they knew their own homes, skiers, teachers, fishermen, ordinary men chosen for an impossible mission, among them a young leader, Joachim Rønneberg, 23 years old, calm, precise, the kind of man who doesn't raise his voice because he doesn't need to. Before leaving, each received something small, almost insignificant, a cyanide capsule. They were captured, they couldn't be interrogated. Before the attack, 4 men were already there, alone, isolated, living on the frozen Norwegian plateau. Months without rescue, without enough food, without hope of escape. They ate what they found. Moss, lichens, anything. They lost weight. They almost lost their lives. But they didn't lose their mission. They discovered something that would change everything. A route. A path the Germans considered impossible. Below the factory, a ravine 200 meters deep. Yes, darkness. Certain death for any attempt to cross. For the German army, impossible. For those men, an opportunity. One of them descended alone, without a rope. I'm a reserve, and he returned. With the answer London needed, there is an entrance. February 27th, 1943. 11:15 p.m. 11 men reach the edge of the abyss. None of them speak because everyone knows if someone falls, no one comes back. They descend in the dark, without equipment, only hands and courage. Every step is a risk, every loose stone a possible death sentence. But they continue, 2:30 a.m. They are inside, no alarms, no shots fired, unseen. They find the laboratory, the cylinders, the heart of the German nuclear program, and then a man sees them, a Norwegian guard. Everything could end there, but it doesn't, because he makes a choice. He remains silent. Explosives are placed, each charge positioned with surgical precision. No excessive destruction, no civilian casualties, only the target, The leader lights the match. Now it works. 30 seconds. They don't run. They walk, because running makes noise, and noise kills. No fireballs, no collapse, just a muffled sound, like a door slamming in the distance, and then liquid spreading across the ground. Hundreds of pounds of heavy water lost in seconds. The German project delayed, perhaps destroyed. When the Germans realize it's too late, soldiers run, lights scan the snow, but they find nothing because nobody thinks to look where nobody should be able to pass. The gorge. And years later, someone asked the mission leader, what would have happened if you had failed, he thought, and answered, perhaps London would have disappeared like Hiroshima. The silence doesn't last long. Minutes after the explosion, sirens cut through the icy Norwegian night. Lights come on, doors open, screams echo through the mountains. German soldiers rush out of their barracks, weapons in hand, trying to understand what just happened. They expect to find invaders fleeing along the roads. Tracks in the snow, signs of confrontation, but they find nothing. No bodies, no footprints near the main entrances, no evidence of entry. It's as if the attack came from within the mountain itself. The officers begin to formulate hypotheses: internal sabotage, treachery. Norwegian officials are interrogated. Some are arrested, others disappear. But there's one detail that changes everything. No one considers the gorge. For the Germans, it's not a route, it's an insurmountable natural obstacle, and that's exactly what makes the plan perfect. Meanwhile, the men who just changed the course of the war are already far away, skiing in the dark, without light, without trails, leaving no trace beyond the inevitable. The leader, Joachim Rønneberg, makes a critical decision: to divide the group, not for attack strategy, but for survival. If they are captured, it won't all be at once. If someone falls, the mission will still have been worthwhile. 5 men head towards the Swedish border. 400 kilometers, deep snow, extreme temperatures, German patrols everywhere. They only move at night. During the day, they bury themselves in the snow, digging shelters with their bare hands, sleeping under the ice so as not to freeze to death. And above them, German planes crisscross the sky, looking precisely for men like them. But then, something changes. It starts to snow. First lightly, then heavily. In a few hours, what were once clear footprints in the snow disappear completely. Nature erases all evidence, as if it wanted to protect those men, as if it knew that they carried something greater than their own lives. Not all cross the border. Some remain. They disappear into the population. They assume new identities. They return to living as ordinary citizens while continuing to fight in silence, because the war is not over. It has only changed form. In Berlin, the news travels fast. The facility was sabotaged, production halted, months of work lost. The reaction is immediate: order to rebuild at any cost, because for the Nazi high command, the nuclear project is still a priority and time is still an enemy. Months later, the factory resumes operations, more protected, more closely watched, more fortified. But now it is no longer invisible. The Allies know exactly where to attack, and this time it will not be silent. American bombers crisscross the sky and destroy what remained of the facility. The German decision is inevitable: abandon the site. But there is still one last chance. The remaining material can still be saved. The Germans decide to transport it by train, then by ferry, across a deep lake in Norway. One last hope, one last move. But someone is watching. The man responsible for the next mission. It's Knut Haukelid, one of the same ones who participated in the previous operation. But this time, the scenario is different. The mission is simple: sink the vessel, destroy the cargo, prevent any chance of recovery. But there's a problem. Civilians are on board. This is no longer a clean operation. It's no longer a surgical mission. Now there is a cost, real, human, and inevitable. He knows it. Even so, he places the explosive charge and walks away. February 20th, 1944, the barge crosses the lake. Everything seems normal until the explosion ruptures the hull. Water quickly floods in, the vessel sinks, taking the cargo with it, and innocent lives. The nuclear material disappears into the depths, and with it, Germany's last chance. The mission was a success, but the price was high. Unlike the previous operation where nobody died, now there were consequences, because war is not made only of victories. It is made of choices, and some of them haunt those who made them forever. Germany never managed to produce enough heavy water, never built a functional reactor, never came close to a bomb. And perhaps this changed everything, because meanwhile, elsewhere in the world, a similar project was progressing, but this time successfully. Stories like this rarely appear in books with the prominence they deserve. No grand battles, no colliding armies, no cinematic explosions, just men in the cold, in the dark, doing the impossible, and sometimes that's exactly what saves the world. If you've made it this far, then you already understand. Not all wars are won with weapons, some are won with silence. If you want more stories like this, subscribe, because there are even more unbelievable operations that almost nobody knows about.